In today's video, I want to highlight Sony's recently announced PlayStation Chinajoy 2019 press conference and why you guys should be excited for it. Expect a lot of new PlayStation 4 game reveals, maybe even PlayStation 5 game reveals, given that these games take a while to come out. However, last year's Chinajoy conference was awesome, and I'm expecting more of the same out of this year's conference. I'll give you guys the rundown of what to expect. Also, we've got some details on the PlayStation 5's VR headset. Sony already has a VR headset on the PlayStation 4. They've said that VR headset will carry on over to the PS5, but you'd be kidding yourself if you're thinking that Sony isn't working on a new VR headset, and they are. And some of the patent filings give us an idea of what to expect out of their next headset. We'll run you guys through that. Cyberpunk 2077 is one of the highly anticipated games of 2020. And we've got some new gameplay details on that as well, and we'll run that down at the end of this video. But first up, PlayStation's Chinajoy 2019 press conference is set for August 1st. Now, a lot of you guys might not be very excited for it. Maybe you didn't check out Chinajoy last year or the year prior to that. However, Sony has revealed a lot of compelling games at Chinajoy every year. Just to give you guys a rundown of last year, they revealed games like Kill X, Project Boundary, Pervader, Hardcore Mecha, and Lost Soul Aside was shown off last year as well. Lost Soul Aside is one of those games that so many people are looking forward to. Maybe some of you guys just don't know it's a Chinese game, but whatever the case may be, there are a lot of exciting projects coming out of China. And if you watch the showcase video they put out last year, there were so many cool games, and this year, it looks like there are going to be a ton more games. A lot of teaser images were revealed. Now, this doesn't give us a gigantic idea of what to expect out of the games, but what it does tell me is that there were several teaser images shown off. Some of them you can tell are lower budget games. They're probably smaller experiences. However, I imagine some of them will be bigger budget games like a Lost Soul Aside or like a Project Boundary, but the number of games that are shown off is quite remarkable. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 games shown off just based on some key visual teasers. And one of them, it was noted, is Blazing Beaks. That already has a Steam page up right now, and it's available to buy. It's $14.99, but it's a very good game, was received really well, and that is one of the smaller experiences. I'm really hoping that we get a release window for Lost Soul Aside, because that's the game that really everybody has been circling around and wanting to see a release. Unfortunately, we've known about the game for quite a while. I'm sure it's making some substantial progress, and we've been told over and over again that the game is making progress. Don't worry about it. I was hoping we were going to be able to play it this year in 2019. I highly doubt that that's going to be the case. Now that we're creeping into 2020, maybe it'll be a 2020 release. Maybe it'll transition into a PlayStation 5 game. Whatever the case may be, that is a game that I want to play ASAP because it has some stylish Devil May Cry-like gameplay. It has incredible visuals. The presentation is top-notch, and that is a game I definitely want to check out. That is, of course, coming from Ulti-Zero Games, a game that originally was being done by one person, and then it kind of grew and grew, and then a studio came on board, and now a lot of work is being done on it. Again, games from last year include Hardcore Mecha. That looked really cool. Pervader looked great. Project Boundary is a game so many people have interest in, and Kill X is of note as well. I imagine we're going to see a lot of brand new revelations and announcements here as well, so a lot to digest with the Chinajoy press conference. Again, it is set for August 1st, and when we have the details of what games were confirmed, what games were revealed, and what games we know more information about, again, crossing my fingers for that Lost Soul Aside release window at the very least, we will let you guys know, but be excited for that. That's coming up in just 2 weeks. Okay, moving on from that, heading into the release of the PlayStation 5, a lot of us are very excited, and at this point, we're just looking to know what games are going to be a part of the PlayStation 5's launch window. However, one imperative thought that you have to be thinking about is VR capability. VR has been an integral part of the PlayStation 4, more so than I had expected. We've seen Sony release these platforms in the past, whether it be the PlayStation Move, whether it be the PlayStation Vita, that they're hot on the platform for a little bit. They'll release a lot of compelling products from the get-go. However, as year 2, year 3 rolls on, a lot of those games and a lot of the effort by Sony dissipates. That absolutely has not happened with PlayStation VR. It released, what, back in 2016? 2017 we got great games, 2018 we've got great games, and 2019 more great games have been released and more great games are coming, and it's really surprising that Sony has remained this committed to PlayStation VR. Now the question remains, what are the VR plans heading into next generation? Well, we already know that this VR headset is going to be compatible with the PlayStation 5. However, Sony is definitely working on a new VR headset that is going to up the capabilities of what we get out of VR products. A lot of patents and leak specs have been revealed, and Inverse has a rundown on it, so I'll leave a link to that that in the description box below, but they have also revealed the price, claiming that a variant that costs $250 will support 2560 by 1440 resolution at 120Hz refresh rate, provide a 220-degree field of view, 5 hours of battery life, and eye tracking support. And on June 11th, Sony also confirmed that it's working on a VR headset which can track users' head position and eye movements in a patent application published by the USPTO. Here's a summary of what one of the patent covers. The detection section detects the posture of a head-mounted display worn on the head of a user. The status determination section determines a user's gaze direction and a binocular inclination angle in accordance with the posture of the head-mounted display, which is detected by the detection section. So it looks like with the next VR headset, Sony is pulling out all the stops to make it even better than the first headset. The thing that I think the majority of us want is a wireless VR headset. I don't know how capable something like that is, but that's really one of the main limitations with the VR headset right now. I have PlayStation VR, however, it is a hassle to make sure that the thing is plugged in all the time. There are so many wires everywhere, and to keep it organized, that's a little bit difficult. However, the games that are a part of PlayStation VR, whether it be Elder Scrolls V Skyrim, whether it be Blood and Truth, whether it be Firewall Zero Hour, Moss, Astrobot Rescue Mission, Resident Evil 7, the Wipeout Collection, I can go on and on. There are so many great games on the PlayStation VR headset, and not only are there all these great games in terms of the top scoring titles, however, there's an incredible amount of depth to it when you talk about the varied genres, the varied offerings in games. There's a lot of quality games on PlayStation VR. I can still understand why some of you guys are a little bit skeptical. It's still a technology that is in its infancy in terms of creating quality games, but you can tell that the games are getting better and better, and with the hardware that the next VR headset could offer, if it's priced accordingly, if it offers a lot of new features, if it is wireless, I think it could be a very good thing for the PlayStation 5. However, you also have to keep in mind, Sony is not going to want to release the PlayStation 5 and the VR headset 2 side by side. They just don't want to do something like that because that requires an incredible amount of investment from the consumer. Rather, they would probably want to release the PS5 in 2020 and then follow up in 2021 or 2022 with the VR headset. This way, people can drop the $400 or $500 on the PlayStation 5. They can wait a year or two, and then they can drop whatever it may be, $250, $300 on the VR headset. These are all elements that you do have to take into account. But I'm very excited on the possibility of the next VR headset. Let us know what you guys think. And lastly, I do want to note some gameplay details about Cyberpunk 2077. It is going to have a hardcore difficulty setting and some for non-shooter fans as well. Similar to The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt, CD Projekt Red's Cyberpunk 2077 will feature multiple difficulty settings. It was noted a hardcore setting will be available to players that want something very difficult, but if you're also the type of gamer that just wants to casually go through the game, there will be difficulty options for you as well. There's going to be easier modes, one of which will specifically be geared towards players who are not experienced with shooters at all. UI coordinator Alvin Louis discussed the topic of difficulty settings during an interview with WCCF Text, and here's what was said. Quote, "The most fun I think will be the hardcore setting where we turn off the UI you live as well. And that will be a real challenge for a lot of players. Also, at the same time, if you want to play more casually for the story and maybe you're not experienced with shooters, which was a real big concern for us, we want to tell a story and maybe you're a big fan of The Witcher and you're not comfortable playing a shooter, we even have weapons for that. If you recall from last year's demo, we had a weapon called the Smart Gun, which helps you aim. The bullets were much slower and usually a bit weaker, but if your aiming isn't your forte, you can always pick up the Smart Gun. So that is cool. They're really getting everybody involved with this game, whether it be you want a more hardcore FPS experience, they're going to have a hardcore difficulty for you. If you're more familiar with RPG experiences like a Witcher and other RPGs, and you want to just play the game for the story and maybe some light gameplay, they're going to have easier difficulty options for you as well. Personally, for somebody like me, I prefer the normal difficulty option. I'm sure that that is going to be something as well, where it's a mix of the hardcore option and the easier option, not too difficult, not too easy, and it gives you a little bit of the best of both worlds. But nonetheless, there are going to be people that want to check out the game in its most difficult form possible. There are going to be people that want to check out the game a little bit easier and just go through and experience the story, and there are going to be people like me as well. Whatever the case may be, Cyberpunk 2077 looks to have everyone covered. And that's going to conclude this video. Again, PlayStation's Chinajoy 2019 press conference is set for August 1st. Do expect a lot of PlayStation 4 game reveals, announcements, confirmations, whatever the case may be. Expect that on August 1st. It looks like PlayStation is prepping up the next VR headset in a big way, and Cyberpunk 2077 is going to have a wide variety of different difficulty options. That's going to conclude this video. Do sound off with all of your thoughts in the comment section down below. Thank you for watching, and goodbye. Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you're already subscribed, do us a favor and hit the bell icon. This way you'll be notified whenever we post a new video. That's the best way to keep up with all of our uploads, and we usually try to upload 2 videos a day. And with the bell icon hit, you'll be notified whenever we do upload a video. As always, thanks for watching.